Hello and welcome to my channel if this is your first time here, and if not, welcome back. I am starting a new series that's kind of intro to crochet, just to help those of you who want to get into crochet but don't know where to start and don't have someone in your life to kind of guide you. I am here for you, so yay! In all realistic, I am filming at my kitchen table. You can see the mess over here, mess over here. We are not aesthetic here, so I hope you don't mind. First, a little bit about how I got into crochet. So my grandma taught me how to crochet when I was a teenager. And that's my daughter, so she will probably also be interrupting occasionally. Give me one sec. I'm back. So yes, my grandma taught me how to crochet when I was a teenager, and the first thing I learned to crochet was pot holders or hot plate holders or whatever you call them. This is one of mine that is very, very well used, but this is one of the first projects I've ever did. I am gonna do my next video. We'll be going over how to do this in detail. I do have the pattern for how to do a pot holder on my website and my Etsy if that's something you want to grab right now, but I am going to be doing a free tutorial in the next week or so, step by step, of how to make this, because this is a very, very great, approachable first project for someone who's just picking up a hook. So my grandma taught me when I was a teenager, and then I kind of fell out of it through school, and then I picked it back up when I was in college. I went to school someplace very, very cold, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So I was making headbands, hats, and scarves. And I think I made one really big blanket. Again, fell out of it, and I picked it back up in December 2023. I had done a class at our local craft store, a crochet class with my mother-in-law, and I forgot how relaxing and therapeutic the whole process of crochet is. And here we are, like a year and a half almost later, and it's like this whole thing, and I love it. I just wanted to give you a little background about me. Again, my daughter Lila, she is 2.5, and you will hear her little voice in the background. She is currently watching Tinkerbell. That is her current obsession. Let's get into some basics. So crochet, you need yarn and you need a hook. So there's a couple different kinds of hooks. This is my favorite right now. Let me go grab what I used when I first started. Give me one second. I'm back. Lots of interruptions. So when I first started, I really liked using, say this, like your traditional crochet hook. Metal with your little thumb tab. I really liked it because it gave it, it's like the, you know, the pencils that you held when you were super young, and they gave you that little like grip to let you know where to put your fingers. When you're brand new to crochet, you're like, what in the world do I do with this thing? Like, how do I hold it? I really liked that it had the thumb grip because it kind of let you know where your thumbs and your fingers should be on your hook when you're crocheting. So it kind of gave you a peace of mind there. Hooks come in different sizes. As a beginner, I would just go with, on the yarn that you're working with, it'll usually give you a recommendation of like your hook size on it, but you can use any size hook with most yarn. It just creates different tensions and things like that. This is like your standard crochet hook. I mean, you can obviously use also like an ergonomic, which is what this is, but I feel like the standard's a really good place to start just because of that like thumb grip. Yeah, crochet hooks come in different sizes. So this one, I'm gonna give you a little close-up on it. It says, focuses 3.5 millimeters. So they're usually in millimeters, or when I first started, all of the hooks my grandma handed down to me just had letters on them. I'm very new to the whole millimeter thing, but they also have letters. If you ever don't know what letter goes with what millimeter, just Google it. Google can pretty much convert it for you very, very easily. So that's your hooks. I have a lot of standard crochet hooks and a couple of these furls crochet ergonomic hooks that I was gifted that I am currently obsessed with just because how they work. Next with the hook is your grip. So this is going to be completely like based on what feels comfortable to you. I do like, I think it's called the knife grip, not the pencil grip. The pencil grip is the other way. So I hold my hook between my thumb and my forefinger, pointer finger. I don't know, me like just ditzying this. And then I just use these fingers kind of guide the bottom. The other way you can hold it is, again, still thumb and pointer finger, but it's like on top like this, like more like a pencil. So it's more like under or over, but like thumb and pointer finger on the little thumb grip on your hook. So I do more of the knife grip, which is under. But you can obviously play around with it and see what feels most comfortable for you. I've tried to play around with different grips and it just feels... Alexa, stop.
Timer stopped on living room echo.
My daughter just set her own timer and didn't know how to stop it on Alexa, so that's super fun. You can have whatever grip you'd like. As you're working with your hook and your yarn, I feel like you figure out what feels most comfortable to you, but I wanted to give everybody kind of a starting off point, either with the pencil or the knife grip. Okay, so that kind of goes over the hook. And we have our yarn. I already took my label off. I'm gonna shout out We Crochet Knit Picks because they sent me some yarn. I'm just working with their Brava, which is just their 100% acrylic. It's a very easy yarn to work with. When I first started crocheting, I worked with basically either cotton or acrylic, just because I feel like it's easy to work with. The fibers all stay together. Yarn comes in different sizes. Your label here has all that information on it. I'll do a separate video that dives a little bit more into detail about breaking down a yarn label, because that's not really important for like learning how to just like start crocheting. So we have our yarn. The first thing we do in order to start crocheting is we have to tie a slip knot. If you made friendship bracelets when you were younger or have tied knots before, you might already know how to do this. Slip knot is, what I do is I wrap the yarn around my fingers and then I pull the tail of the yarn through and pull it tight and you get your loop. So we have our loop. And the tail of your yarn, you can pull it to tighten the loop, or you should be able to pull on the loop and loosen it and that tail goes up and down. So I'm gonna do like a top down, just a closer look at how to tie the slip knot. So one sec. Okay, so here's our yarn. So again, what I do is I wrap the yarn around my fingers so that the tail end is over the top of the other piece. And then I go into my loop and I grab that tail and I pull it tight. And again, the tail you can use to tighten the loop, or you can pull on the loop and loosen like this. Okay? So I'm gonna untie. I'm gonna show you on the table as well. So the other way you can do this is if you cross it over and then go into your loop and pull the tail through. So one more time. So cross over, have it in the frame, cross over and through the loop, pull the table, and then you can loosen or tighten. So that's your first step, the slip knot. And if you have any questions, you can always drop questions below, but I'm gonna pop back up, okay? Okay, so we're back. We have our slip knot. So take your hook and you put it into the slip knot, and then you can pull that tail to tighten the loop. A little wiggle room with your hook, just because you don't want the tension to be too tight, but you want to tighten that tail so that it's not too loose either. And then how to hold your yarn. Again, This is how I hold my yarn. There's a bunch of different ways to hold your yarn. Go down the rabbit hole on YouTube, see what works best for you, but I'm just gonna go over how I hold my yarn for you. So I hold it with my pinky and my ring finger, and then wrap around my pointer finger. So again, I hold it with my pinky and ring finger and wrap around. So around the front of my pointer finger and back. Because that's how I like, it keeps the tension well for me. I'll say it again. This is how I hold my yarn. There are many ways to hold your yarn. Figure out what works best for you. As you work with the hook and the yarn, you will figure out what feels most comfortable. Everybody has a different nuance on how they hold their hook and their yarn. And the more you work with it, the better you will figure out what works best for you. First thing with crochet, the basic is a chain. You just want to get comfortable holding your hook and your yarn. You can just make chains all day. It doesn't need to become anything. Don't put pressure on yourself to create anything immediately. Just get comfortable with holding the hook and the yarn. So chaining is pretty simple. All you're gonna do is you're going to wrap the yarn around your hook, and your hook will grab it, and you'll pull the yarn through your loop. And that's our first chain. Yay! Okay, so again, you'll hear this referred to as yarning over, or some people yarn under. You don't need to complicate it right now. We're just learning. I would call it wrapping your yarn around your hook and pulling the loop through. So I'm gonna do a close-up of this top down. Okay, so I have my 2 chains I already did. So it looks like a braid. So that's what it's gonna look like. So again, how I hold my yarn is I pinch with my finger, my ring finger, and my pinky, and then I wrap around the front and then around the back. And then I like to hold the tail here, just so that it's easier to work with. So I hold with the thumb and the middle finger, I hold the tail. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna wrap around and pull through. Wrap around and pull through. Wrap around and pull through. So this is chaining. And it creates this like braided look. So that's chaining. So we have our chain. Next stitch, which I think you can do a lot with just chaining and a single crochet. That's gonna be what I go over next. So single crochet is pretty simple. Just gonna insert your hook into your stitch, wrap your hook around the yarn, pull it through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, and then you'll wrap again and pull through the 2 loops. So I'm gonna show you with this like front facing, and then I'll also do a top down. So we have our stitches here. So what I'm gonna do, again, holding ring finger, pinky, wrap around, holding the tail on the bottom. You're gonna find your stitch. Here, I'm gonna just go close here. Find your stitch right here, and you're gonna insert your hook. Honestly, it's easiest when you're starting just to do the back loop, or just into the stitch someplace, because you're just worried about getting the mechanics versus the looks at first. Insert it into, oh God, it's so hard to do this, the back loop. And again, I'm gonna do a top-down version too.
It's getting colder, Mom.
It is getting colder. We're watching Tinkerbell again. And it's the Secret of Wings and the Winter Woods, and Tinkerbell finds her sister. Just a little insight on what's happening over there in the living room. We have our hook inserted now. So we're gonna wrap and pull through. And you're gonna have two loops on your hook. And they're gonna wrap and pull through those 2 loops. And that's our single crochet. So let's see it from the top down. Okay, so this is the single crochet we just did. Top down's a little bit easier just to show you, but I wanted to show you in both perspectives. So the anatomy of your chain. So you have the full stitch is like the full braid. So that's both loops. Like I said, I like to just off the chain work into the back loop. So the back loop is the loop on the furthest away from you. So you're going to take your hook, you're going to insert it into that back loop. See? And then you're going to wrap your yarn, pull it through, and then you'll have 2 loops on your hook. 1, 2. And then you're just going to do the same thing. So wrap your yarn around and pull it through. So now we have 2 single crochets, and you'll see that it's creating that same braided look on the top. So I'll show you again. So insert your hook into the back of the loop, wrap your hook around, pull it through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. So we'll do 3 more. 1, 2, 3, just to go all the way across. So insert, wrap, 2 on your hook, wrap, pull. So 1 more. So there's your row of single crochets, and you can see that same braided look on the top that you had on your chain. So we're gonna flip it over, and then we're gonna chain 1 just so that we can have our stitches to work into. So next we're gonna do is called the half double crochet. The only difference is instead of inserting right away, we're not gonna insert right away. Instead of inserting right away, we're going to wrap our hook first and then insert. So again, don't insert right away. You need to wrap your hook first and then insert. And then it's the same exact steps. So wrap your hook, pull loop through. You'll have 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. So again, you're gonna wrap first, insert your hook, and now so wrap, and now we're gonna go through the whole stitch. So you're gonna go through both sides here. So you're gonna insert so that it goes through the entire stitch. Pull loop through, pull through. So wrap, insert, wrap and pull, wrap and pull, wrap, insert, wrap and pull, wrap and pull, wrap, insert, wrap and pull, wrap and pull, wrap, insert. Oop. So see, I only got the front loop here, so you want to make sure you get the whole loop. So the whole braid, Okay. And then that's our half double crochet row. So we have our chain, our single crochet, and our half double crochet. Okay. So we'll do double crochet next. So we're gonna turn. Again, holding for your yarn, pinky, ring, wrap. So we're going to start by, we're just going to chain 2 because that just gives us our height that we need. Okay. So double crochet is going to be a little different. We're going to start with our wrap still. So wrap, so you have your yarn around your hook. You're going to insert it into the stitch, again the full stitch, so that you go through both sides. You're going to pull through just like we did the half double crochet. So you have 1, 2, 3. The difference here is you're going to wrap and only pull through 1, 2. So again, let's do that again. So we're going to wrap, insert, pull through, and then only pull through 2. And then you'll do it again, pull through 2. Just makes the stitch a little bit taller. So this is the double crochet. So wrap, insert, pull loop through, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. Wrap, insert, pull through, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. Wrap, insert, pull through, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. And then my most common mistake is missing this last stitch. So make sure you go in this last stitch, you wrap, insert hook, pull loop through, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2. And that's our double crochet. So you can see we have our chain, our single crochet, our half double crochet, and our double crochet, and they just get a little bit taller as you go on. So this is our little swatch that we have. I'm all tangled up. So you can see initial chain, and then your row of single crochets, and then your row of half double crochets, and then your row of double crochets. And the nature of the single versus half double versus double is just the height of the stitch. So if you're working up something that's really dense and you don't want it to have a lot of holes and you want it to be very solid, you typically do like a single crochet or half double crochet because it's not as tall. If you want something to be a little bit more open, work up a little bit quicker, use double crochets because they're a little bit taller of a stitch. But these are 3 of the most basic crochet stitches. You can do and make a lot with those 3 stitches. So that's what I wanted to go over today with y'all. I am going to be filming the tutorial for the pot holder next. It should be up in the next week. It makes a very, very great beginner-friendly project. Be on the lookout for this. If you would like more how-tos, me to break anything down, I'm always looking for ideas to help everybody with their crochet journey. But I really hope if you haven't started crocheting but you've been looking to start crocheting, that this video is helpful for you. Really, honestly, the most important thing when you're just starting out is just getting comfortable holding your hook, holding your yarn, and working those basic stitches. You can just chain and single crochet all day long if you want, just so you get comfortable holding it, because the more comfortable you get holding your yarn and your hook, the easier it's going to be for you. That is my cue. Her movie is over. I am wrapping up. Drop any ideas, questions, love in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.